Welcome back to MKE Gadgets. Today we're going to solve a problem I have out in the shop. And I have this thermometer that tells you the inside and outside temperature, and I really like that, especially in the winter. And what I've done in the past, the outside sensor, I put in these two jars. And I have one kind of act as a shelf, so any condensation in here will go at the bottom. Because the last one I had got all corroded sitting in the condensation. I had this outside in a bush, and with no leaves on the bush this time of year, it was reading 80 degrees yesterday. This was acting like a greenhouse. So I thought, well, it's time to solve this problem. The condensation problem and the greenhouse effect. So I was thinking, where's the best place to put this outside? You want to have it in the shade. You want to have it in an area that's easy to retrieve and change the battery. So I made a bracket, and I used aluminum so it won't rust. And I have two small stainless steel cap screws. And a thermometer just kind of clips onto that. And I thought if I had this upside down on my eave, then I could easily slide off the track or take off the thermometer. And it'd be pretty easy to retrieve and change the batteries. So I have a 4x4, and I screwed in some stainless steel deck screws. So the whole thing is stainless and aluminum, so nothing's going to rust. And these two screws will be under the eave. And I made it so there's a little bow in a bracket which acts as a spring. It holds it pretty firm. So then this will be outside in the eave. If I want to retrieve it, I just unclick it. So the bracket has a keyhole in it. And I measured the screws, and I made the holes a little bit bigger. Like I said, the screws are 2 inches apart. When I screw this under the eave, I'll use this as a template. The reason I made this bracket is because if you screw these two screws into your soffit and then you get another thermometer, and then the screw holes will be different, and the screw holes will always be changing, and you could end up with a lot of holes in there. And I didn't like the way that would look. So if I get a thermometer in the future, I can just change the holes on here and then keep the same bracket. So I made the bracket off camera, and today's project is just showing you, something you can make. But I really want to show you is how to make a keyway. So here's a piece of aluminum, same stock I have, 1/8 inch thick, 1 inch wide. I got this from the local home center. So I want to scribe a line down the center of it. And I have my combination square set at 1/2 inch. Now in a previous video, I took a 1/4-20 broken tap and I made a scriber. And ever since then, I've been using the scriber, and I really like it a lot. So I'm going to scribe a line and then move it down a little bit. So the trick is to center punch right on that line. So I have this spring center punch, and it works quite well. So I'll place it over the line, and you can see the center punch there. Now on the bracket, I played with different sizes here, and the two holes are 1/2 inch apart. So I set a pair of dividers at 1/2 inch. I'll put one tip of the divider into the hole I punched, and I'll just swing the other one. So you can see I got a line that's exactly 1/2 inch apart. Now I center punch that one, and this center punch is spring loaded, and it's an automatic center punch. So I'll try this one. Put it on the crosshairs and just push down on it. Do that a couple times. And you can see I'm pretty close there. Now if you want, you could use a center punch and maybe make those dimples there just a little deeper. So with that, let's go over to the drill press and drill them out. Now I measured the head of the screw and the shank of the screw, and I did a little experimenting. And the big hole should be 3/8, the small hole should be 3/16 of an inch. So let's drill that out over the drill press. We're at the drill press, and I'm going to drill both holes 3/16, and then I'll drill one of them 3/8. I have a fence here set up, so I have my back location. 2 punch marks. Let's drill them out. Now I got to remove that material in the middle, and I'll switch back to the 3/16 drill. With the 3/16 drill back in the drill press, I'm just going to split the difference between the 2 holes. So you can kind of see it looks like a keyhole kind of. So now all I got to do is go in with the file and just file this material. So that's what you do if you have a drill press or a hand drill. But if you have a Bridgeport mill, it's a whole lot easier and it turns out a whole lot nicer. Let's go there next. So we're at the Bridgeport mill, and I put the aluminum in the vise, sitting on parallels. I found the center of the material with an edge finder, so we're 1/2 inch from each edge. The process is the same. We're going to drill 2 holes. It's how we connect the 2 holes that will make this a higher quality and more accurate part. So let's drill the 3/16 hole first. Change over to the 3/8 drill. And we're going to move over 1/2 inch on the digital readout. So now we're going to go in with a 2-fluted high-speed 3/16 end mill and make a slot. Going back to my 0 point. I'll just move over a little bit at a time. I'll go back to my 0 point. I'll drop the end mill all the way through a hole and do a little cleanup pass. Now a little deburring and we're done. With a little deburring, it's a much nicer looking hole. This is a keyhole I did at the Bridgeport. And this is the one I did at the drill press, and I'll admit I really didn't do a very good job filing that. You can see how much better it is, the one with the Bridgeport. But if I would have taken my time filing, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Just to show you how it works, so here's my screw, goes through the bigger one, now it's kind of locked on there. Little bump in there, it acts as a spring. So in the future, when I need to change the battery, all I got to do is push in the middle and release it. And this way, any wind shouldn't knock it off. If I need to change the sending unit, I can just unscrew it and put a new sending unit on here, and I don't have to screw back into the wood under the soffit. Today we showed you 2 ways of making the keyhole. So I'm going to go out and install this. I'll insert a still picture. Thank you for viewing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and click on the bell so you get notifications of any new videos I upload. Thank you. MKE Gadgets out.